Good evening, everyone. Before we get started this evening, I would like to introduce Mr. Mark McAdow from Willowview Methodist Church. Willowview Church? What do we call it these days? Okay, Willowview Church. Sorry, I started to say it and I thought I need to correct myself. To lead us in our invocation. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. If you all would please join me in prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for your presence with us here tonight. Thank you for those who faithfully serve us here in the Enid Public School System. Our Superintendent Dudley Darrow, our school board members, and all of our school principals and administrators, teachers, secretaries, facility staff, security officers, counselors, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, crossing guards, and many others, I'm sure. They give their heart and their life to caring for our students, encouraging and helping them to become the best people and citizens they can be. The investment these people make every day are worthy of our deepest appreciation. Your holy word tells us, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. Help none of us to be fools, but to be lifelong disciplined learners, seeking the wisdom that comes from above. May we honor you, Lord, and may we seek your wisdom for discussions and decisions to be made here tonight. As you know, we're getting close to the end of another semester. Please continue to keep us safe and help us to finish strong as we learn and grow together. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. And with that, I am going to call the meeting to order with Randy Long, Matt Lohman, Chad Mance, Joe Blackwood, and Matt Sampson and Tori Turnbow present. Moving us to presentations, Ms. Johnson.
Our elementary spotlight student this evening is from Monroe Elementary School, and I'm going to let Dr. Dietrich introduce her.
Good evening. We are proud to have Jasmine Chartier. Come on up here, Jasmine, as our spotlight lion, and you're going to notice a little theme here. She is involved in our Lion Leaders team, and then she's involved in honor choir, Circle the State with Song, EC3 choir, and that's what she loves to do in her spare time, singing. She hopes to be in the choir in middle school and high school, and she's very proud to have been accepted in several choirs here in the community. She's also in our Monroe inaugural academic team and has traveled to academic competitions with us, and she loves to draw. So we're so proud to have Jasmine here. Would you please stand?
Please join me in the American flag salute. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
We have a certificate for you. You'll stand over there, our board president.
Good job, Jasmine. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Our next spotlight student, our secondary spotlight student, is from Longfellow Middle School, and Mr. John Mitchell will introduce them.
Our spotlight student from Longfellow is Mariana Solomon. I can truly say it has been a joy having her for the past 3 years, not only just speaking for me, speaking for our staff, our student body, and the community at large at Longfellow Middle School. So I will let her tell you a little bit about herself.
Hi, I am Mariana Solomon. I attend Longfellow Middle School, currently in the 8th grade. Over the past 3 years, I enjoyed being a part of Mustang News, Junior Honor Society, and leadership. and I was recently chosen top 5 from my school. I participated in track and basketball. Playing sports gives you the opportunity to meet students from Waller and Emerson. Being in middle school has taught me how to be a team player, make new friends, and become a better version of myself. Who would have known that when I entered Longfellow as a shy young lady, I would rise up as a confident and knowledgeable 8th grader. I'm pumped to bring my leadership skills and athletic abilities. I'm excited for my journey to begin at Enid High School. While being this year's class president, I did my best to set an example for my classmates. I will miss Longfellow very much, and I would like to end this with a scripture. Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. 1 Timothy 4, verse 12. Thank you.
She was one of mine at Garfield. She gets a hug from me.
Thank you for that, everyone. We'll take us to item C, our oath of office for re-elected board members and reorganization of the board. Dr. Robinson.
All right. Dr. Tenius and Mr. Mance, if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me, we'll swear you guys in. So please repeat after me. I state your name. Hereby declare under oath that I will faithfully perform the duties of member of the Board of Education Independent School District number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma.
Member of the Board of Education of Independent School District number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
And that I will faithfully discharge all the duties pertaining to said office.
And I will faithfully discharge all the duties pertaining to said office.
And support, obey, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and Oklahoma.
And support, obey, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and Oklahoma.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Tenius and Mr. Mance. Takes us to item C2, election of officers. First, we need to re-elect a board president. Do I have a motion?
I would make a motion to elect Chad Mance as the board president.
Okay.
Second.
A second by Joe Blackwood, motion by Randy Long. Any discussion? Mr. Mance, are you happy to serve in this role?
I am.
Okay, and on that, we will take a vote. Randy Long.
Yes.
Matt Lohman.
Yes.
Chad Mance.
Yes.
Joe Blackwood.
Yes.
Kim Tenius.
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Tori Turnbow, yes, and the motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Mance. So now I will switch you seats. Right? Or do I do vice president? You want me to do it? I'll go ahead. I'll go forth with vice president. Okay. I know, I got excited. I was moving on. Okay, 2B, board, voting for a board vice president. Do we have a motion?
I would motion Randy Long as vice president.
Okay. Matt Sampson makes a motion for Randy Long. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Matt Lohman. Any discussion? Randy Long, are you happy to take this position?
I am.
And on that, I will take a vote. Randy Long.
Yes.
Matt Lohman.
Yes.
Chad Mance.
Yes.
Joe Blackwood.
Yes.
Kim Tenius.
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Tori Turnbow, yes. Congratulations, Mr. Long. And on that, we will swap seats.
Okay, that takes us to C3, appointment of other officers. We're going to have item A, Board Clerk Sam Robinson, item B, Covers Clerk Dr. Sam Robinson, and item C, Minutes Clerk Dr. Sam Robinson. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Motion by Tori Turnbow, second by Joe Blackwood. We'll vote. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Lohman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Okay. Then to 3D. Do each one of those separate?
No, there's still one.
You can do all three of them? Okay. We need to appoint assistant minute clerks, Rebecca Ostrowski, Robbie Goodwin, Veronica Marin. Can we do treasurer? Stop right there. Okay. Those three items there. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Matt Lohman, Matt Sampson, second. We'll vote on those three. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Lohman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Okay, that takes us to E. E and F. So treasurer, Jenny Miller, and assistant treasurer, Autumn Ross. Autumn Ross. Have a motion?
Second.
Tori with a second by Joe Blackwood. We'll vote. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Lohman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Okay. Takes us to item D, recognitions. Ms. Jane Johnson.
This evening, we have several recognitions. We're going to start with our speech and debate. Ms. Linda Uthier is the instructor, and I'm going to let her tell you about their accomplishments and introduce them so that we can give them some certificates.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us here. I will tell you, the kids begged me to tell you, about half of them, we are literally in the middle of rehearsal of Footloose, which opens Saturday night. So some of them, and I'm not going to you'll have to figure it out. Some of them are in costume, and they are not very pleased that they're going to have their picture, but that's okay. We're doing what we have to do. So anyway, these 9 students, I actually took 10. One could not be here tonight. These 9 students qualified and attended the state speech tournament this last weekend. We had 3 of them were in the final rounds, but just these 10 alone were in the top 16 in the state in their respective duets and monologues and interps and poetry and prose and all the things that they do. They work very, very hard throughout the year. We usually attend about 7 qualifying contests, regionals, district contests. It's always on the weekend, so they're giving up their Saturdays, and they're really, don't tell them I said this, but they really are dedicated to what they do, and they work very, very hard. So just when I say your name, just step forward so they know who you are. Lawton Avance, Delaney Carruthers, Malia Crouch is actually playing softball this evening, Rihanna Gray, Dana Gwynn, Jace Morrison, Ani Ortiz, Avery Ransom, Aiden Rogers, and Cheyenne Stufflebeam. So really proud of all of them. And I just wanted the board to know that we are also members of the National Speech and Debate Association, and this year we received the Leading Chapter Award. It's a national recognition for excellence in speech and debate, and it's a cumulative award. You accumulate points over the years, and when you reach a certain level, then you get the Leading Chapter Award. So this was our year to get the Leading Chapter Award. Yay! Yay us! Okay.
Thank you all for coming out tonight, Miss Uthier, and looking forward to the musical, too.
The musical will open on Saturday evening at 7 o'clock. We have a 2:30 performance on Sunday, another one on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, and another one on Friday night at 7 o'clock. Okay, everybody come. Oh, yes, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
Our next group of recognitions is the Allen Family Scholarship recipients, and Ms. Kim Collins, Senior Counselor at Enid High School, is going to tell us about that award and one special young man who has some very bright future ahead of him.
Okay, in 2018, Paul and Joan Allen, along with their descendants, started the Allen Family Foundation. If you've been around to Enid, you know about the David Allen Ballpark and the soccer fields that were recently built. But what's near and dear to my heart is the scholarship program that they've started for first-generation students. So in 2018, that was our first year to do this scholarship, and each year they pick a minimum of 4 students to get a $40,000 scholarship. It's $10,000 per year. What the main criteria for this scholarship is that they have to be first generation, meaning that their parents or grandparents either did not attend college at all or only attended for a short period of time. Over the years, we've seen the number of scholarships double, starting out with about 20 students applying per year, and now we're over 40 students. It's an extremely competitive scholarship program. I would say that this year, probably 80% of our scholarship applicants had 4.0s or higher for all of high school, so extremely competitive. We had 8 students from Enid High that made it to the finals where they get to interview with a family, and out of those 8, 4 were chosen to receive this $40,000 scholarship. And that is Narissa Castellanos, Brandon Alcaraz, Ashley Pacheco, and Ariel Aras. I'm going to ask each student to come up quickly and just tell you where they're going to attend college and what they're going to study, and then Ariel will speak at the end, and he has a little bit more detail to share with you.
My name is Narissa Castellanos, and I plan to attend the University of Oklahoma and major in nursing.
My name is Brandon Alcaraz. I plan to attend the University of Tulsa for computer science and software engineering.
Good evening. My name is Ashley. I plan to get an associate's degree in political science to then transfer to OU and get pre-law.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I just want to say it's an honor to be here, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here and get to share my story with you all. My name is Ariel Aras. My journey begins in Mexico. From humble origins, my family comes from poverty. We didn't have very many resources, and the conditions back home weren't good. In my family, for generations, they were born and they lived their whole life in the wilderness. They lived off of farming. They hadn't been able to obtain an education, and that is up until my grandparents. They were able to attend some elementary school. Luckily, though, my parents, they were able to move to a city, and they were able to graduate from high school. My parents, they've always worked super hard to provide it for me and my sister. And they, like I said, they came from nothing. And my dad, after many years of hard work, he was able to obtain a job as a kitchen appliance salesman back in Mexico. And for context, in Mexico, you have to be wealthy or you have to be extremely smart to be able to attend college. And unfortunately, I wasn't born that way. Without a college degree, jobs are limited to entry-level minimum wage positions, and there's not very much opportunity for growth. My parents decided that it was better for us to come to the United States of America. Some of the reasons for that were because of the insecurity. I have a couple stories about that, but they're for another time. But just summarizing, we got to a point where we were afraid to even go outside and fear for our lives. Another reason was because of the economy. I got to a point where we're barely able to survive from paycheck to paycheck, and my parents, they wanted better opportunities for us than what they had. We only arrived here with only a couple $100, which were their life savings, and a couple suitcases, just whatever could fit. And the only thing we had was hopes and dreams, but nothing was assured. We arrived here in a small rural town in Texas called Belton, Texas, in a farm where my dad worked, and we lived in a trailer there, a small trailer. And my mom, to help with the costs, she sold souvenirs in the streets. And I think the thing that impacted me the most when I got here to the U.S. was walking into my new elementary school and just seeing all that it was. Back in Mexico, or school, we didn't have floors, we didn't have walls. It was our classrooms were storage containers. Our desks were very old, and our books were very old as well and decrepit, and sometimes we couldn't even read what they said. Walking into a school here in the U.S., I saw, wow, this is like a palace compared to where I went. I mean, there was, I had never experienced AC before. There's countless computers, tons of books. I said, wow, this is like a palace, But I realized that now I was living a dream. I could accomplish anything I wanted. And then we, after a few months, work slowed down, and we moved here to Enid, Oklahoma. My parents in search of work, and when I arrived here, I attended Glenwood Elementary, and it was very hard learning English. It was very hard acclimating to my new environment because no one at my school spoke Spanish. All I had to rely on was Google Translate, but it wasn't very reliable. And I had a hard time fitting in because I just couldn't communicate with anyone. But I became motivated by just witnessing the disparities between the countries. I was the only one of my friends who ever got opportunities like these, and I didn't want to waste my parents' sacrifice. All that they had done for us, I didn't want that to go to waste. My dad specifically went from having an office job to working hard labor jobs, just anything he could find. He didn't care what it was, as long as he was able to provide for us, whether it was farming, construction, roofing, just anything at all. And I wanted to make my parents proud, and I wanted to become someone important. I knew that. But after just dedicating myself for a while, I eventually was able to learn the language, and I started preparing for college. I've always wanted to go to college. I started becoming involved in school, taking more challenging classes, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had thought about aviation a couple times before, but then towards the end of my sophomore year in high school, they announced they were going to introduce an aviation class, and I was like, this is my opportunity. So I got involved, and that's what I wanted to do. It's a promising career. But as I kept looking into it, I found out that due to the citizenship requirements, I wasn't going to be able to become a pilot. Then I said, well, I can do something else. So I started looking to college. And I also found out that I was unable to apply for federal loans or federal aid because of my citizenship as well. So I was very disappointed. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. But I said, I want to do this, and I'm going to. I asked many friends, family, some teachers, and everyone I asked, they said they either didn't know or that it wasn't possible. Everyone in the Hispanic community told me, our children weren't able to go to university. You're not going to be able to go to university either. But I knew what I wanted to do, so I kept looking. In the end, I ended up applying to 60 colleges. I said I have to get into one, and I was able to work my way past that. Right now, I am on my way to attend Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. I want to study international relations and then go to law school. I want to become an immigration lawyer, and one day, I hope to be able to run for public office and serve my community. So far, I've been blessed to have been able to go to both the Oklahoma Senate and House Representative page programs this year. And I just want to end up with just thanking my Lord. Without Him, none of this would have been possible. My friends, family, and my community. Thank you, guys.
As they're taking pictures, I just want to just publicly thank the Allen family for this scholarship opportunity. This truly does change lives and extremely competitive. And just you four, best of luck and congratulations. Just a big congratulations. This is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Our next recognition, Mr. Craig Liddell is going to share information about our future teachers.
Good evening, Dr. Darrow, board members. Good to see everybody. Congratulations, Perez. It's good to see you. And from there, how do you follow Ariel Aras? That's pretty tricky, you know, but you're not going to get 10 minutes of Craig Liddell tonight. I'm going to ask these two young ladies step forward, introduce themselves, set to where our Teachers of Tomorrow program, which formerly was Teacher Cadet. We're talking about being going for over 20 years. Mr. Huggaboom's been in charge for quite a while now. Some of you maybe knew David Marcus, Mr. Marcus, when he got the program up and running. Unbelievable. And their commitment is to say, I want to go and be an educator. I'm going to go be a teacher. So for me, it's a special moment to say, come on, introduce yourself, and we'll go from there. So thanks.
Good evening. I'm Shelby Dupree. I'm going to UCO, and I intend on teaching high school English. My name is Ryan Rader. I am going to Northwestern Oklahoma State University and getting a degree in early childhood education.
And the lad who slid in, because I never knew he was joining us, but he's stepping up as well.
Hi, my name is Adam Rogers, and I plan to go to Northwestern Oklahoma State University for agricultural education. So,
Okay, I need to take their picture, but before they slide away, because we want you to consider coming back to Enid to teach, I have a little goodie bag for you. And because Enid Public Schools Foundation wants you to come back to teach for us, they have a little gift for you. So, Shelby.
Inside it's a teaching contract. If you'll go ahead and sign that, it'd be great.
Oh, thank you. And Miss Ryan Rader. All right, let me get your picture so I can say, yeah, these are coming back to teach for us. Awesome. Whoops. Sorry, Dad. Thank you. We have another recognition from Enid High. They're just sweeping all this stuff tonight. Mr. Alex Prokopis is going to tell us about Cadence and her accomplishment.
Alrighty, well, I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce Cadence Sper here. She is in her first year of EPS Vision program in her broadcasting, and she had the wonderful accomplishment of making it to the Oklahoma Summer Arts Institute, which is a wonderful accomplishment. They take thousands of applications, go for different disciplines, and out of all of those, and they only take 20 in the film category. So she's able to go this summer, 2 weeks, surrounded by professionals across the industry. They fly into Oklahoma, and it's 2-week intensive in the Quartz Mountain reserves down there in the resort. So we're wonderful that she gets to explore, and she gets to really represent Enid High School down there across everybody else in the state. And shout out to the great district who supplies the exact technology and everything for the real life applications like this. So shout out to you guys for all the wonderfulness, and great job to Cadence.
And our last recognition for the evening, I'm going to ask Leighton Lay and Boston Shepherd to come up. Ms. Hendry, do you want to tell about their great accomplishment?
Oh, I'm so excited. So this is Leighton Lee and Boston Shepherd, who's behind me. And they won second and third place. You were second place, right? And you were third place in a statewide poetry contest where they wrote a poem about Oklahoma. And one of the things I wanted to tell you just real quickly is these boys are oftentimes recognized for their athleticism. They're in all kinds of athletic events all the time, right, boys? Yeah. And so this just goes to show you how well-rounded our Enid Public School students are, because now they're getting some recognition for a poetry contest also. And the speech and debate lady was probably watching you guys real closely. Yes, and they also won some money. $50, $75, and $50, right? Yes. Okay, who's going to go first? Oh,
okay, I'll go first.
Okay, Leighton will go first.
My name is Leighton Lee, and I wrote a free verse poem, and the title of my poem is Sooner State, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is such a beautiful place. Kites flying in the air, left and right, back and forth. Little kids playing in the driveway, drawing with chalk, and the older kids playing in the fields with their bats, helmets, and gloves. Home, sweet home. Older adults watching their grandkids. Mom's inside cooking spaghetti for the kids. And again, home, sweet home. My name is Boston, and I wrote a acrostic poem. The name of my poem is Oklahoma State Monument. G is for grease, O is for oil field, L is for lubricant, D is for digging, E is for enormous, N is for needful, D is for dangerous, R is for really helpful, I is for it is a good thing, L is for lube, L is for luxurious, E is for earth, R is for really useful.
Those boys are both fourth graders. I don't think I mentioned that. They're fourth graders. And if you haven't seen The Golden Driller in Tulsa, that's what his poem was about.
Okay. I'm going to go off script a little bit as everyone's leaving, but that's okay. We're going to talk a lot tonight about the bond issue that recently passed, and it is just such an outstanding event for our community and our school district. But I want to give out some awards to 3 people that went above and beyond, because truly all the communication that was done, all the PR, all the press work that was done was through these three ladies. Unfortunately, Miranda's not here, but Jane and Becky, I'd like to give you both a plaque. I had this engraved here. There's some personal stuff on the back, but I'll let you read that. But I'll just read this one's for Becky. It says, "Thank you for your outstanding dedication in promoting the EPS 2024 bond campaign. Your diligent efforts were instrumental in ensuring its success." April 15th, 2024. So Becky, thank you. And Miss Jane, same thing. So thank you both. Yeah, I appreciate you both. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I got to have a square.
I did that pretty good, didn't I? I've got Brandon's too, but I'll get it through tomorrow. Yes, ma'am.
All right, that takes us to number 2, which is audience to visitors. We have none. Then number 3, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Darrow.
Yeah, before Randy gets going real quick, this is just part of our strategic report every month. This month is the academic performance, and as you all know, we're entering the testing season. We started testing last week at Enid High School, and so Mr. Rader and Dr. Rhodes are both going to kind of give a sample of where we currently are, what strategies we've implemented this past year, and what we can expect the next couple weeks. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Rader.
All right, thank you. I'll be really quick. I've put on your place graph that looks like this. It's got blue and orange. But just a real quick comparison to the elementary scores from just this last spring. Just keep in mind this is just a snapshot for one testing session last year. I did compare it to the state, so if you'll look, it's got the state there in blue and it's got Enid in orange. Third grade RSA, if you'll look, the state had 70%, we were at 61%. Third grade reading was at 60%, and for the state, and Enid was 49%, and then third grade math, the state was 69%, and we are at 61%. A little bit behind there. Make up a little bit of ground in fourth grade where the state's at 59% and we are at 54%, 70% in math and 67% for Enid. And then in fifth grade, close the gap a little bit further. It always makes me proud because obviously I want to be ahead of the state, but when you compare, we're not quite there. But again, the state in fifth grade reading was 70%, we're at 66%. Fifth grade math, 70%, we're at 68%. Fifth grade writing, 50% for the state, 46% for Enid. And fifth grade science, 74% for the state and 72%. I did put a little bit of demographic information at the bottom. Not really going to go into that detail, but you can see Enid is its own unique community. You know that. We have a very diverse community, which we love in all of our schools. But when you compare it to the state, I also want you to see that demographically we are somewhat different than the state. So just keep that in mind. I'm proud of the strategies that we use. We have amazing teachers and amazing administrators in our building. Each school this year wrote a building level and grade level specific growth goal as part of their academic site plan. And that corresponds with what Dr. Darrow put out there, a 10% growth in reading. And we'll be anxious to see how that comes about. After school tutoring is done at almost all of our sites, and we did take advantage of the state's high dosage tutoring through the State Department, which was 15 weeks of intensive tutoring that they helped provide financing for. Each grade level did work at the beginning of the year to establish essential standards in reading and math, and we continue to offer letters training. We had 18 this year take advantage of it. That's a small number for us. But it's because we've trained so many in the past. That's who was available to take it this year. Our curriculum department developed a math series that they've gone to PLCs and or faculty meetings and presented that. And we began that last year when we started looking at We knew the textbook adoption was coming up, or the curriculum adoption for this year was coming up, so we developed a math series to help teachers understand what we needed to be looking for, best practice there, and that's been a success. And then strategies into progress, updating our item bank in Mastery Connect. We know that we needed to fix some of our depth of knowledge questions to make those better on our common formative assessments, and the curriculum department has been working on that this year. Updating our benchmarks. We take benchmarks, but again, they always are in a state of tweaking just to make them better as we get better at writing them. In several of our campuses, well, across the district, we've identified a need for fluency interventions. So next year, at 3 or 4 of our campuses, we're going to be piloting a program called Word Flight, which focuses specifically on fluency intervention for 2nd and 3rd graders. And depending on the success we have with that, we'll look to expand that like we generally do. And then, of course, the next year's math adoption. Or actually, it's this year's math adoption for next year, for the next 6 years. And we're really excited about the adoption that's coming. We've adopted a program that is written specifically for Oklahoma, which doesn't happen very often. I think teachers are excited about it, and it goes right directly with the math series that we have been teaching teachers, or discussing with teachers as well. So pretty excited about things. Obviously, we always want to improve. I always want to be number one. We're not number one, but we are growing. And so if you have any questions, that's kind of the report for the elementaries.
Mr. Rader, I have a question.
Yes.
You said we had 18 go through letters training this year. What is our percentage of teachers that have attended letters training? We've got to be pretty close to.
Very high.
Yeah,
I mean,
most of them.
Yes, very high. I don't know that right off the bat. I know we've trained well over 300 to 400 in the last
That's what I
5
thought.
to 10 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the fact that only 18,
Right.
we're still, most of them already have the training, so that's a
Right.
good thing. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Rader?
Yes, sir.
Would you speak to the impact of the demographic differences that we have, as you pointed out, how that impacts those scores compared to the state scores?
Well, I mean, we know that demographics affect, socioeconomic affects scores. Kids come more ready to learn sometimes when they come from homes that aren't as from poverty and stuff like that. But so that obviously affects it. Our EL population, I mean, it just, we're high. We have almost 30% of our kids that come to us speaking another language or need additional assistance in English. And I mean, even Ariel talked about it, it takes time. And he addressed it perfectly. I mean, when you come to school and you don't understand the language, that's going to affect your scores. And I'm sure that when he was here in 4th and 5th grade, his scores weren't amazing because he was still learning the language. But look at him now as a senior, 4.0 student going to Georgetown. So it's always going to affect. And when you have a third of your class that's struggling with language barriers, that causes issues because
it can't help but affect it. I just appreciate you not using that as an excuse for those scores. But when you have that kind of skewed figures, it's got to affect it and impact us being able to reach the same as. But again, I appreciate that we're not using it as an excuse.
We're
working
not an
to
excuse. And that's one of the things I like. I mean, that's one of the reasons I like looking at 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. And you can see the longer we have the kids, the more the closer those scores get to the state average, and then I would say even we'll get better than the state average. Any other questions?
Thanks, Mr. Rader. Dr. Rhodes. And Dr. Rhodes has a handout also at your area.
So mine's a little long, but there are results on the back of both of those sheets. However, I want to just talk about the strategies that we have really looked at, because we have a lot of data to look at, and obviously what most of the state looks at is how did we perform with an ACT. And since that's our state score, we have the ACT, and then we have the CCRAs, which is over science and United States history. But when you look at the overall report card, we are also graded on our graduation rate, our attendance, and everything else. So that all plays into that overall grade. So when we start breaking down our data, we're looking at what kind of questions are our teachers asking students as far as depth of knowledge? Are we all at a level 1 that is so simple that the kids can pass it, or are we giving them more strategic type questions, critical thinking questions of as a DOK 2 and 3? And so as we started looking at our data at the end of last year and even this year, we could see that we were not making the gains that we need to make. So we started digging into that. And so what we started even this year, and we just gave a benchmark at our middle schools, is all 3 middle schools took a basic OSTP exam, 50 questions that looks and reads just like an OSTP. We didn't score great, we didn't score horrible, but we didn't score where we needed to be. So we gave that benchmark in March, so that way teachers had time to reteach and go over those standards that we were not hitting well. We will go ahead and give that same benchmark again in September as Form A, give a Form B in December, and a Form A again, so we have real data and we can see what growth we're really making. Because the test data that you look at on the second and third page, that's one set of juniors every year. So we can't track kids necessarily based off of this data to see what standards what they really know and don't know. So that's why we started that at the middle school level. Now with the ACT test, we give that to all, we give the pre-ACT to our 8th and 9th and 10th graders. So we gave that out in October, and then we went back and we looked at that data, and when we had kids scoring well above 20, we were like, okay, we need to be doing this again. So obviously we gave the ACT test last Wednesday, and what we did is we opened that up to any freshman or sophomore that scored 22 to 25. We asked them, hey, you want to take the regular ACT with us? But we also had kids that didn't score well, and we opened it up to all kids. If you want to come in and take that ACT again, come and take it. So we had 66 kids on last Wednesday that took the ACT, separate from what our juniors did, in another location to increase their scores from a pre-ACT or just not a great ACT as a senior. So we're very proud to offer that, because ultimately our goal is the more they're exposed, the better they understand what's being asked on the question, and we can even do better test prep. And so I do want to give a shout out to the foundation, because they also helped pay for us to provide some ACT prep the nights prior to taking the test again. So thank you, because that was very well needed. All of our juniors will test again this Tuesday, the science and the history portion. Again, there's not much, we're trying to incentivize that, because kids know they just have to take it to walk across the stage. It means nothing to them in the big picture of things. The ACT is tied to college entrance, and even career techs look at that, and other people, but to take this science and U.S. history, it's really not tied to anything. So the high school is trying to go above and beyond to incentivize that, to get kids to even try and put forth some effort, because teachers take it personally. They put their heart and soul into trying to get kids to learn, and they all look at it as a reflection. So we're trying to do some strategic things there, but trying to outsmart high school kids sometimes, it's getting more challenging. But after we get through with our testing cycle here at the high school, then they're already starting the AP exams. So I went ahead and just put some last year data down there. We gave 416 exams and over 20 subjects. So I'm not going to say those are 416 kids, because they may have taken more than one AP class, or more than one AP test. So I can give you that data when we come back in August of what we took there. Our middle schools, again, we look at their data, and each of them, they're a great team to work with. They meet as principals every month without me to, can you believe that? They meet without me? But to go ahead and talk about, they're looking at their data and what can they do, and what may work at Emerson may not work at Waller, but however, we're still working strategically on all kids are going to move up to the high school. they're not always going to be a Waller student or a Longfellow, or, everybody goes to Enid High. And at the end, we're all Enid Plainsmen and Pacers. So that does carry on. And so they're working hard to also provide all the strategies. Like I know at the high school they have tracking Tuesdays, holding kids accountable. Where are you in your classes? What do you need? Providing tutoring. We have tutoring provided at school, during the school day at the high school, even after school tutoring. And they also have that at the middle schools as well. So middle school will start testing April 18th through May 8th. And that's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So it is just testing time. And so, again, we've got a lot of work to do, but again, I think it's back to sometimes just getting back to the basics. Every site has really honed in on providing interventions. We've hired interventionists, trying to find ways to lower that gap for students. So, do you have any questions?
Thanks, Dr. Rhodes. Thanks, Mr. Rader. Okay, well, moving on then, after the strategic report, let's go down to item B, which would be another discussion item. That's over the bond issue that happened almost 2 weeks ago. And a lot of this board meeting tonight is going to be going over the logistics and the details of this bond. But I just want to say publicly thank you to the community for stepping up and really supporting our school. I think the board members are aware of this, but in 2010 was really our first big bond issue that we passed. That was a 62% pass rate. We came back 6 years later with Dr. Floyd in 2016 and passed another bond with a 65.6, and then in 2024 we came back again with almost a 69% pass rate. So again, those numbers just keep getting bigger. And I know this one was a much smaller number, but again, I think it shows it speaks volumes to me, the community support. We've got a lot of good things going on across the district, as you can see, and the community's backing us all the way. So it's just a great night, and just want to tell the staff, thanks for getting out and supporting this as much as possible. Our bond committee that we met monthly and really helped guide the direction of the conversation to get us where we were finally at, and the bond committee was great to work with. So just a big thank you. Saying that, so didn't want to jinx anything, but Dr. Robinson and I met early Wednesday morning, and as soon as we knew it was official and we started putting a game plan together of trying to get this money spent by August. We'd like to get everything in place by August, and obviously that's going to be under a time crunch, considering we're in April, and before you know it, it's going to be here. So things that we're trying to get out ASAP is we're trying to get 2 buses bought, and we're trying to get a new learning device, a new iPad and Chromebook for every student, but by the time August gets here. And also, our top priority with our security is going to be outdoor cameras. So saying all of that kind of gets me to items C and D, and I'd like to go ahead and talk a little bit about C. Again, we're under a time crunch, and that's kind of why we put the wording on that, to where we could buy these, Dr. Robinson and I could approve the purchase of these Chromebooks. And I just want to kind of reiterate, buying 7,000 Chromebooks and 1,000 iPads, it might be easy to buy them, but we have to get them programmed, we got to get them imaged, we have to get them to where they're just programmed specifically for EPS, and that just takes a lot of time. Several people told me stories, the kids came to school and they said, hey, the bond passed, where's my Chromebook? Well, it just takes a little bit of time. It takes a lot of time. So luckily with Jeff, we were able to find the Chromebooks. We were able to secure them. But now with your approval, we can start getting them programmed, get them in place to where in August we can have an easy rollout. So that takes care of items B and then C. And while I'm talking, I would go ahead and say the same thing about buses. There's just not a lot of inventory out there with buses. Rick Moulton is currently working. He's found us 2 buses he's working on obtaining. And again, we just want to get the permission to purchase these items before if we would have a great opportunity, we may not be able to wait a month, because if we wait a month to purchase them, we may not make that August deadline. So that is a lot of information there, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have on item C and or item D. I hope I explained it well enough. Yeah, if you don't mind.
Let's go. Okay, item C, discussion and then possible action to allow Dr. Dudley Darrow, Superintendent of Enid Public Schools, and/or Dr. Sam Robinson, Chief Financial Officer of Enid Public Schools, to approve the contract for one-to-one devices for student use as called for in Proposition Number 1 of the April 2nd bond election based on a proposal received that could be time-sensitive based on the next available board meeting date. Approval would be based on a not-to-exceed price of $800,000 per annum of 3 to 4 years.
Move the approval. Second.
Randy Long made the motion. Matt Loman.
Yep.
Second. Okay, we will vote. Tori Turnbow.
Yes.
I apologize.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I want to clarify. You said 800,000 instead of 850. Does that matter?
Yeah, just
Okay.
I was reading off the, okay, 850,000, thank you.
And I'm sorry, you just said Proposition 1?
Yes.
The bus is Proposition 2?
Proposition number 1?
Yeah, we're getting there next.
We'll read it next.
So we've got a motion, we've got a second.
Okay, we'll vote. Tori Turnbow.
Yes.
Matt Loman.
Yes.
Randy Long.
Yes.
Joe Blackwood.
Yes.
Kim Tinius.
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Chad Mance. Yes. Okay. And that takes us to D. Item D, discussion and possible action to allow Dr. Dudley Darrow, Superintendent of Enid Public Schools, and/or Dr. Sam Robinson, Chief Financial Officer of Enid Public Schools, to approve the contract for 2 new school buses as called for in Proposition Number 2 of the April 2nd bond election based on a proposal received that could be time-sensitive based on the next available board meeting date. Approval would be based on a not-to-exceed price of $140,000 per bus.
So moved.
Joe Blackwood.
Second.
Kim Tinius, the second. All right, we'll vote. Tori Turnbow.
Yes.
Matt Loman.
Yes.
Randy Long.
Yes.
Joe Blackwood.
Yes.
Kim Tinius.
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Chad Mance. Yes.
All right, well, thank you all for that approval, and I will certainly keep you posted along the way. Well, and like I said, these are really exciting times, so thank you for this, and we'll get this done ASAP. Just a reminder also, to make all this happen, we'll sell the bonds on May 8th. That's item E on the agenda. I think we've definitely got a quorum there. It'll be a short, sweet meeting, hopefully, and that'll be noon, May 8th. It'll be exciting. Going on to item F, which will be Eisenhower Elementary. Not a lot to update on Eisenhower since the last board meeting. The design to build application has been updated to the Department of Defense. He has received it. It has not gotten kickback to me, so that's a good thing. And also, Jay Sweat is coming into town on Tuesday, May 14th to talk to us. He's going to take a tour of Eisenhower. He wants to go out to Vance as well. Still working on the actual logistics of that day. Those are good signs that he's going to be out here next month. And also, I've got a Vance Development Authority meeting tomorrow morning, and Eisenhower Elementary is on the top of the agenda as well. So hopefully I'll get some good news from the city tomorrow. But again, I'm still optimistic. We're still working the process here. It's not working as fast as we wish, but that's okay. I'm still optimistic and have had no reason to not be optimistic. So I think we're getting there, and hopefully by our May 14th visit will go well. I'll have some really good news to report back that following Monday. Any questions on Eisenhower? Okay, I'll keep moving on. Enrollment is still healthy. Our current enrollment numbers are 7,561 kids. That's up 1 from last month, so it's 7,561. That's just, it's been healthy all year long. It's been really close to that 7,600 number from the beginning all the way to August up until now. So very consistent. And speaking of enrollment, I'll continue on with item H. Our pre-enrollment for kindergarten has gone very well. I've heard no complaints at the front office. The first week alone, we enrolled well over 270 kids, which is awesome that families and students are choosing to enroll in public schools. The only negative is I'm still looking for a few teachers. So I kind of mentioned that tonight to those kids going off to school. But we're still looking for a few teachers, specifically early childhood. Mr. Rader, you want to chime anything on that?
Just if you're out there and you're hearing this and you want to teach pre-kindergarten, let us know.
That's right.
Because they're coming.
And we do have that $2,000 signing bonus, looking to hire early childhood teachers. So again, this is a good problem. It's a good thing. Okay, moving on to item I, VOAG update. Mr. Hager has been here multiple times now, and everything is trending very nicely with him. We had our first VOAG committee meeting. Joe Blackwood and Chad Mance were there that day, and it was a very positive meeting. Several members of the community was there. Janet was there as well with the foundation. He's got a lot of energy and bringing a lot of excitement. You guys have seen that video that he pushed out as well. And we've also got about 90 kids right now that have taken the student request or requesting agri-science next year. So again, that's a good thing too. We've got kids interested. One of our students tonight said he was going to be a VOAG teacher. So that's a really good thing as well. We've got the student interest there at Enid High School. We also got some positive news that we've got a little bit more additional funding through Carl Perkins this year to help our VOAG. So again, the funding's coming through. We've got a great teacher. And our next meeting is going to be Wednesday, May 22nd at 4 p.m. Dr. Rhodes, did I cover everything?
I think we both forgot earlier when we talked. Mr. Hager is a member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation of the tribe, and they have reached out to him to do an article on him and starting the ag at Enid Public Schools. So be looking for that. We're starting to get more recognition. I forgot to remind you that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's a great article. Okay, I'll keep moving. Let's go to item J. You guys have been by Enid High School. You notice the tennis courts are getting closer and closer to being done. And it won't be long. We'll be able to let the kids start playing on that. And obviously, that's just going to be so, it's just really going to be a game changer not having our kids spread across town, being able to practice there and compete there every day. We don't have a finalized date of when it's going to be open yet, but I'll definitely keep you posted. Once we do get it open, we'd love to do some dedications with the foundation and some of our donors. Once we get to that point, we'd love to recognize some of our donors and definitely our kids, celebrate our kids as well. So, Dr. Robinson, we're really close. I know within a week or two, probably.
Yeah, it's kind of weather dependent a little. Yeah. A few of the finishing touches are paint. So if you get a day like today, it's too humid, you can't really paint, or windy in those conditions. So it's right there on the cusp. I think Dr. Darrow's right. Here in the next 2 weeks, we ought to have an opening. So
pretty exciting, and I'll definitely keep you all posted on that as well. Okay, item J. This is some unfortunate news. Just want to remind everybody, Enid Public Schools was underfunded from the State Department of Education from 1992 to 2014, and that was 22 years. That was discovered, and then we joined a lawsuit with several other schools to try to recoup some of that money that we were underfunded over those 22 years. On April 2nd, which was a good day for our bond, was an unfortunate day with the Supreme Court, because the Oklahoma Supreme Court actually ruled 0-9 in favor or against us ever recouping our money. And I actually spoke to Molly Tolbert. She's been our lead counsel through this entire process. Obviously, Molly was extremely devastated by this. She was extremely disappointed. And I asked her, what is our chances of recouping any of this money? And her quote was virtually zero. And I said, Molly, I need to tell the board that. Can I use your word? She said, yes, virtually zero chance of moving past the 0-9 vote from the Supreme Court. So obviously this is extremely disappointing for us. We wish that we could have recouped some of that money over those years. But with the Supreme Court being so firm, there's nothing to really rally around. One other thing I'd like to say, which is discouraging, but again, we've got to move on and understand that. But a couple years ago, Dr. Robinson, were you the CFO? We were really close to a settlement. And for those of you who might remember that years ago, and for whatever reason, there was a monkey wrench put in there, and we didn't get the settlement. So again, I certainly appreciate Molly's efforts. I appreciate Ponca City's taking the lead on this lawsuit. But unfortunately, it seems like we have really hit a wall here. So any questions I can answer? Okay. Sorry to bring it to you, but I do think everyone needs to know publicly there. Okay, off the bad news, let's go back to some good news. Dr. Robinson recently wrote us a TSET grant for Garfield Elementary, the running club, and that was been recently awarded. I think he might have got strong-armed a little bit by his wife Shannon, I don't know, but they've got a great running club over there, Mrs. Rader and Mrs. Robinson, and really looking forward to that. And I want to give a big shout out to Stephanie Pendergraft with TSET. She helped us with our wellness policy and helped us make this possible. So $60,000 is really awesome. Sam, you want to add a little bit more there?
Yeah, so you guys know the work we did last year on our wellness policy. That's really what led us down this pathway, and that's where Stephanie Pendergraft really came into play. She helped us with that policy and those updates, and with that policy, it basically got us to what's considered like a gold standard for TSET. And now with that, the district being awarded that, it's my understanding that our campuses are now eligible for additional funding if they choose to write grants as well. And it should take them to another funding level that can be beneficial to them above what they've been eligible for. So really this is kind of the starting point of what the campuses can now do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Robinson, for writing that. Much appreciated. And thanks for Stephanie. You guys see her around. The last item for me is just a reminder we have our last legislative breakfast Friday, May 10th. That's been very well attended. Representative Caldwell, Peterson, Pfeiffer, Dobrinsky, and Petzowski from Balco actually tuned in last time as well. So it's been very well attended. And if you'd like to log in with us, I'll get you the Zoom link. But again, representatives have been very well. We've had great conversation, and our last one will be Friday, May 10th. And that concludes Superintendent's Report, sir.
Okay, that takes us to 4A, discussion and possible action to approve the following consent agenda items. We can take 1 through 10 there, can't we?
Yes.
Okay.
So moved.
So moved by Tori, second by Joe Blackwood. All right, we'll vote. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Lohman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. All right, takes us to 4B, discussion and possible action to approve the district's financial report for March 2024. Dr. Robinson.
All right, I just have one highlight on the finance report. This is one of those months where collections are now greater than obligations. And so we run on appropriation all year long. We finally now have actually brought in more cash than we have on the obligation side in the general fund. And so just to be clear, that's we brought in about $80.4 million, and we have obligated within the last month $78.8 million. So that means we cannot go in the hole in spending this year. So thank goodness for that.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Joe Blackwood with motion.
Second.
Matt Lohman's the second. Okay, we'll vote. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson? Excuse me, Matt Lohman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Now it's Matt's turn. Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Okay, takes us to item C. Want Dr. Robinson to speak on it first, or I'll read it first?
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Robinson.
Okay, so this is the resolution calling for the selling of the bonds. We already did the resolution calling for the election of the bonds in 2010, 2016, and again in 2024. So part of what I'm going to sign off on, depending on your vote here, is that I read this resolution in its entirety to you. So just bear with me as we go through this process, because this does go to the Attorney General's office, and we don't want anybody to challenge this and have to make us come back to another meeting. So this is part of the process. Here we go. All right, so here's the resolution. A resolution fixing the amount of bonds to mature each year, fixing the time and place the bonds are to be sold, and authorize the clerk to give notice of said sale as required by law. Whereas the issuance of $98,650,000 of general obligation building bonds by Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, has been duly authorized at an election held on the 9th day of February 2010 for that purpose. And whereas $90,545,000 of the $98,650,000 has previously been sold, issued, and delivered into the Board of Education, School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, now desires to sell a final installment of $8,105,000. And whereas the issuance of $90,230,000 general obligation building bonds by Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, has been duly authorized in an election held on the 9th day of February 2016 for that purpose. And whereas $10,775,000 of the $90,230,000 has previously been sold, issued, and delivered, and to the Board of Education of Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, now desires to sell a ninth installment of $1,810,000. And whereas the issuance of $8,100,000 of building bonds by Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma has been duly authorized and election held on the second day of April 2024 for the purpose. And whereas the Board of Education of Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, having determined at the time that the election was called to authorize the $8,100,000 of general obligation building bonds, that it would issue the bonds in separate series, with the first series of $900,000 to be issued immediately. And whereas the issuance of $2,700,000 of transportation equipment bonds by Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, has been duly authorized and election held on the second day of April 2024 for that purpose. And whereas the Board of Education of Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, having determined at the time that the election was called and authorized the $2,700,000 of general obligation transportation equipment bonds, that it would issue the bonds in separate series, with the first series of $300,000 to be issued immediately. And whereas the Board of Education of Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, pursuant to Title 62 Oklahoma Statutes 2011 and Section 354, desires to sell at this time $11,115,000 in bonds, consisting of a combined issue of $8,105,000 of building bonds authorized in election held on the 9th day of February 2010, $1,810,000 of building bonds authorized in election held on the 9th day of February 2016, $900,000 of building bonds authorized in election held on the second day of April 2024, and $300,000 of transportation equipment bonds authorized in election held on the second day of April 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, that the $11,115,000 of general obligation combined purpose bonds of Independent School District Number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, portions of which were voted on the 9th day of February 2010, the 9th day of February 2016, and the second day of April 2024, shall be offered for sale at the Boardroom Administrative Service Center, Enid, Oklahoma, Enid Public Schools, 500 South Independence, Enid, Oklahoma, on the 8th day of May 2024 at 11:30 a.m. Said bonds to become due $11,115,000 in 2 years from their date. Any questions? And just for clarification, that 11:30 is correct because the bond sale will happen at 11:30. You all will meet at noon to say yes to the bond sale. Good.
Okay, so item C, resolution number 677, board to consider and act on the resolution determining the maturity of and setting a date, time, and place for the sale of the $11,115,000 general obligation combined purpose bonds of the school district.
So moved.
Joe Blackwood, so moved.
Second.
Sampson, second. Okay, we'll vote. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Loman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Okay. Item D, discuss and possible action to approve an agenda for bond counsel services with Floyd and Driver, PLLC, attorneys at law.
All right, so this is just our agreement with Floyd and Driver. They've been representing us through this whole process. Nothing different. They just basically sign off that we are doing everything legally.
So moved.
Okay, Joe?
Second.
Randy with the second. Let's vote. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Loman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Okay, takes us to E, discussion, then possible action to approve the engagement letter with Chas W. Carroll, PA, for the completion of our 2024-25 estimate of needs for a fee of $15,760.
Yes, so Pat Carroll has been doing this for us for several years. He used to do our entire audit and everything. He is now just doing the estimate of needs, which is needed, so that way we can conduct business for fiscal year 25.
Okay.
So moved.
Tori in motion.
Second.
Matt Loman second. We will vote. Tori Turnbow.
Yes.
Matt Loman.
Yes.
Randy Long.
Yes.
Joe Blackwood.
Yes.
Kim Tinius.
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Chad Mance. Yes. All right, takes us to 5, new business. Any business?
I don't have any new business, but I did put a couple handouts at your area. Just want to remind you, we do have graduation between now and next time we meet, and I will be emailing you out some more descriptions or information, logistics to get closer. Also, we've got prom coming up in Mayfair. Also, all of our middle schools are graduating, so all that's at your handout. So not new information, but I want to make sure everyone's aware.
Okay, item 6, reports, items of information, board comments and questions. Colonel Little is not here this evening. Any other board members with any comments or questions? Okay. Moves us to item 7. Next regular meeting is May 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at this location. Item 8, discussion of possible action to approve a proposed executive session in conference room 123 to discuss the employment of those individuals and or positions listed on attachment exhibit A and possible purchase or appraisal of real property.
So moved.
Matt Loman, motion.
Second.
Kim Finis with the second. We shall vote. Return vote.
Yes.
Matt Loman.
Yes.
Lindsay Long.
Yes.
Joe Blackwood.
Yes.
Kim Tinius.
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Chad Mans. Yes.
7:15.
Not quite as quick as last week, but we're got a lot to do.
That's right.